Hey guys, Sword here, back in with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Marvel Legends 85 Years of Marvel Amazon exclusive. I'm going to refrain from the OG here because Amazon exclusives are a heck of a lot easier to obtain than Walmart exclusives. Am I right, Collecticon fans? Population 0. But today we'll be taking a look at the Cabal 3-pack featuring Taskmaster, Dr. Doom, and the Iron Patriot, aka Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin. Avenge me! Die, Spider-Man! Sorry, I can't help but bring out my inner Defoe when Green Goblin is referenced. That said, this set is of course brought to us by the fine folks over at Hasbro, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm one of the first dudes on YouTube to get a hold of this, maybe? I know they sent some review samples out, but I got mine legitimately, so this is going to be a 100% honest review. So if you're on the fence about picking this up, well then, you are in the right place, my good friend. So, with that being said, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look, see at all these guys have to offer in terms of accessories, because it's actually quite a bit, especially for Taskmaster. So why don't we start with him. First and foremost, we get an alternate pair of grip hands with the appropriate hinge for holding weapons, I might add. Go up and down instead of in and out. That's what you want. That's good. So there's those. He also has an open hand for some reason. I hope I didn't miss an open hand. I'm assuming he just has this one. But there you go. So he's got extra hands. He also has a arrow and a bow. I assume these are reused from the, was it 50-year anniversary of Avengers program? The Beyond Earth's Mightiest. Hawkeye with the Sky Sled, which I'm assuming you could probably hook up this Taskmaster with. But there you go, he comes with both of those, and there is actually a place in his quiver on his back. If you can put that, I'll show you that in just a minute here. He also comes with this little pistol, which is kind of gummy and, well, quite frankly, kind of crap, but whatever. And if I'm not mistaken, doesn't Taskmaster have like his own gun? I don't know why they keep using that one. He also has his sword, which mine had a nice little nick on the side, so thanks for that. But I do have the old one from a few years ago, so I guess I could always switch it out. And then he has the iconic Taskmaster shield with the clip on the back with the peg that you can flip back and forth from. And I will tell you, plug this on to the wrist where the hinge joint is. That's the skinniest part of the wrist. That's your best bet, getting this thing on there without breaking the darn thing. Hashtag don't break your toys. Also, it feels like this is embossed. This T logo here. That said, as far as Dr. Doom is concerned, he's got an extra pair of hands. One of them's trigger finger. One of them is this kind of open hand, or the turn your head and cough hand. Oh yeah! Been a while since I said that, I think. Oh, wait a minute. Turn your head and cough again. Oh yeah! Can't believe I missed that. So there you go. He also has a Luger that goes in the little holster on his hip, but that thing's a pain in the butt to get in there, so I'm not going to screw with that. And that's all you get for Dr. Doom. I thought he had an alt head, but I guess he doesn't. That said, in the way of Iron Patriot's accessories, he does come with a couple of repulsor blast hands with the peg holes in them and the hinge joints. So that's nifty. You also get a couple of repulsor blasts that you can put in the hands or in his feet, or you could probably even use these with the Dr. Doom. He's got the little jetpack on the back there. And we also have a couple of extra heads. We got the Norman Osborn head, not looking like Willem Dafoe at all. And we also have this crazy Terminator skull head. So essentially you get a 3-pack of all dudes with skeleton heads. That's pretty sick. That's Overlord approved, if I do say so myself, but there you go. think this is like possessed by the void or something. But there you go. That's your lot for accessories. So pretty loaded for Marvel Legends, I will say. That said, why don't we take a look at Taskmaster first? Yeah, we'll move him out of the way. Why not? Whoop! Knocked him right over. We'll look at Taskmaster first. We'll go over articulation with this guy because he is on the Vulcan buck and he has the most articulation out of the three of them. You can take the cape off. You can see the quiver there. Has the little slot for the arrow, a la Storm Shadow from G.I. Joe Classified series almost. And then we'll pop his head back on like that. His head pops off kind of easily. I'm half tempted to try and warp that, but could just use the old head. So I think it's the same for the most part. He doesn't look to have the white skull, but I don't know. Maybe the paint's a little better on this new one. Can't really tell. Maybe someone in the comments can let me know. But as far as articulation on this guy goes, his head will rotate. He does have the disc hinge, but again, you're going to pop that head off. So again, I might swap that out with something later. That said, he does have the disc hinge shoulders that go up very, very far, as well as the butterfly joint that will swing back and forth very easily. Shoulders will rotate. He does have a bicep swivel that works just fine. Double jointed elbow. Depending on where you bend it will kind of dictate how much range you get, but roughly you get about that much. He does have a swivel in the wrist with a hinge. Should be worth noting that Dr. Doom's grip hand also had the appropriate hinge for holding weapons, so that's nice. Maybe you get a little bit more bending the bottom joint first. It's because you don't have that glove cuff as in the way. He does have the strap here. There is no hole on it that I can see, so you're just going to kind of push it under the cape when you put it on. Ab crunch moves back and forth just fine. He does rotate at the waist as well. His Taskmaster belt is floaty, but it will pretty much move with the upper torso, or the torso in general. Hips will kick forward. You gotta kick forward more than that. What the heck? There you go. Kick forward about that far. Back a little tiny bit. They will kick out. He seems to get decent out. Is that almost all the way? Hold on. I don't remember this body being able to do that before. Is this a new hip crotch deal? Is there it's no drop down there. So yeah, he can almost do the splits. Better than most Spider-Man. I wasn't expecting that. That's crazy. He's got a thigh cut. That's about the only gummy joint I noticed on this figure is the thigh cut. But I'm probably barely even going to use those, so I'll just leave that alone. I know how to loosen it, but it ain't worth the time. He does have a double knee, though. It works pretty well. I didn't have to heat this guy either, but it is still pretty warm. It is summertime loving in the summertime up here in upstate New York, so, you know, it was fairly ready to go when I got it. He does have a boot, like a cut, but it doesn't rotate like for crap. It barely works. I know it's moving in there and it's not like cracking nothing, but I'm just going to say his boots are in place because of the cuff. Maybe if you heat it up, you'll be able to get some range out of it, but I wouldn't count on it. I'd just leave it alone. And he also has the hinge in the foot with the rocker and peg holes at the bottom of the feet. If you wanted to use a peg stand of some kind to help him stand up. But he's pretty stable as is. Sorry, I got a case of the sniffles. Pegging his cape in. Woo! Let's see. There we go. This is a little tricky to get that to line up there. But we'll plug his head back in. And there is Taskmaster. Easily my favorite figure of the set, but probably not the reason you should buy the set. I mean, yes, it's a nice upgrade if you like the pinless look. That's fine and dandy, but I didn't mind my old one. The only thing I had against my old one is he had a little blue nipple. right here, the white on his costume was chipped as far as the paint goes, and I never had it fixed. So this one is nice and clean, so I do like that, and it does have the quiver, I guess, so there's that too. And you can actually store everything on this guy like a G.I. Joe Classified series, so I do appreciate that. That said, now I have Dr. Doom. I will tell you the articulation is the same in the arms and the legs as Taskmaster, although he does have the ball hinge feet, and his actually work. He doesn't, of course, have the butterfly joint, but he does have the torso rocker swivel thing, so you can rotate that around, and then you can kind of crunch it forward and back, not by a lot though. The head appears to be, let's see if I can get that in the light here. If you can see that. It is a Doombot head, hence why it's a skull. I will say you're probably better off using this on the old Dr. Doom with the removable plastic cape, because I don't remember if Doombots have capes or not. I know sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Personally, I will probably put the head from the old version on this body, have it as my standard Dr. Doom, while I will put this head on the old one and take the cape off and put it elsewhere. Not quite sure about that yet, but for the most part, this is a solid figure. I never did look at the old Dr. Doom, but I have looked at this body before. I looked at the white version that came in the Zemu, whatever, the big, he looks like the friggin' Snow Ghost from Scooby-Doo wave. I did look at that one, and I still like this body. I will say this knee on mine's a little loose, but this one's fine. And I will say this hand is a little loose. It pops right out. So I might need to hit that with a little bit of heat, pinch it closed. But there's this Luger right there. You can see it. It's a gummy, floppy piece of crap like Taskmaster's gun. I don't think it's the same mold, but it is what it is. But he's got the cloth cape. He's got the glued-on little clasp here, which is surprising. I didn't expect it to be glued in place. I think he's got some new ports dremelled in the front there for this to peg in like that, so that's interesting. But he still has the peg hole on the back, so it's a slightly retooled torso. I will say the cape feels like a spandex material maybe, so it's a nice material for a cape, no bendy wire or anything like that. This isn't McFarlane. And then of course you do have the ports on the back. You can put these suckers in if you want, and they actually fit in there pretty well, but I imagine you'd want a different color maybe, because I think those are more repulsor color. But that is the Doombot, Dr. Doom, whatever you want to call it. Like him quite a bit. But now we have something completely new to me. Iron Patriot, at least this body buck. I have the old Iron Patriot from the Ironmonger Build-A-Figure wave, but that was released a long time ago. That was like before they started putting legends in the black box there, like the Ultimate Goblin Wave and stuff. But this is a reuse of the Extremis Iron Man figure. I never got that figure. I think he was in the Puff Adder wave, right? But I gotta tell you, I'm really impressed with this mold, and I think I'm gonna backtrack and get that Extremis Iron Man now, because I do want to get that new Hulkbuster that's coming out, and that Extremis Iron Man goes with it. So Hasbro getting more of my money, gosh darn it. But that said, oh, one of his little disc thingies on his hip is a little warped, but I guess I could fix that. That said, though, as far as articulation on this guy, the arms and the legs, again, same as Taskmaster. He is pinless, so, you know, you got that going for you. You can bend that far, and then the elbow, bend that far. But I will tell you, this lower knee joint on mine's a little loose. He does actually have rocker pivot and all that good stuff going on in the feet. But he does have the diaphragm joint, which crunches one notch forward, one notch back, tilt, one notch, and rotates. No issues there. These little disc thingies will rotate up and out of the way, so you can bring the hip out. Hold on, he can do the splits too? I don't know why we need drop-down hips. They are perfectly capable of making hips that work, so that's kind of weird. We'll say, I think the shoulder range on this guy is not that impressive. Yeah, that's kind of lame. I think the old one got better than that. But this looks a lot better. He does have the disc hinge in the head, too. So you can look up, down, rotate. This head's a little tight on here, but I didn't have to heat it up or anything. But that's Iron Patriot for you. It's a cool looking figure. I dig it a lot. I'm impressed with the mold. I will say that one knee being loose kind of sucks. But I will say of the set, he's probably the best of the upgrades. He's not my favorite. That's still Taskmaster. But I think if you're going to get this set for him, maybe wait until it goes on sale, maybe. I don't know if it will. But maybe wait for a sale or wait and see if they release him later. Because if you ask me, if you already got the Doctor Doom from the, was it Super Skrull Build-A-Figure wave, and the Taskmaster from the Infinity War Thanos wave, I don't know if you really need to get this set. I know I sure as heck didn't, but gosh darn it, I love Taskmaster. He's one of my favorite Marvel supervillains. And this new one is going to look great with the Deadpool from the Comic-Con exclusive 2-pack with the Hydra Bob. So, that's pretty much why I got it. Am I justified in my decision? Probably not. But before we wrap this thing up, we bring in Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus. And the infamous Elephant Spawn, who as usual towers over everyone. Because this wouldn't be one of my reviews, I didn't bring in my two regulars for size comparisons and have them almost completely off screen. I never said this was going to be a perfect video, alright? What do you want for free? So that being said, it's time now that we move right along and wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, the main question most of you out there are probably wondering is this Cabal 3-pack worth the price of admission? And to keep things short and sweet, I'm going to say that yes it is. Physically, I think there's enough going on amongst all three figures to make them worth the $75 price tag on ye old Amazon. However, I can completely understand why some people are on the fence about picking this set up, because you gotta remember, it is the most expensive offering, to my knowledge, in the 85 years of Marvel program that the fine folks over at Hasbro are offering up as a part of their Marvel Legends line this year. And if you have the previously released versions of these characters, at least as far as Taskmaster and Doctor Doom are concerned, I totally get why some people would pass on this. I don't think there's enough new going on there to warrant having both. However, I think we can all agree that good old Norman Osborn as the Iron Patriot is a welcomed upgrade to a figure that is, for lack of a better term, extremely dated at this current time. It wasn't a bad figure for its time, but let's just agree that this one fits the collection much better. It's a better size, it's a better sculpt, it's got swappable hands, it's got some blast effects, and it's got some swappable heads to boot. And don't fret if you don't get this set right away. I have a feeling that this Iron Patriot will be offered up again, possibly with the Dakin Wolverine or Mac Gargan symbiote / black costume Spider-Man in some sort of Dark Avengers set later on, or at the very least as a single release. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later. But wait, there's more. Yeah, I figured I'd clear some things up before I sign off here, because upon further inspection, I did a bit of an oopsie and missed a couple of things. So, first and foremost, we'll address the elephant in the room. Good old Iron Patriot here. Set that back down for a second. This is not an Iron Patriot head, although where it was placed in the package, one could possibly think it is. That person would be me, of course. This is actually, pop this off and put put this on. This is the Doombot head I thought was missing from the box. That said, isn't the Iron Patriot supposed to have a Norman Osborn head with the Void thing kind of, I don't know, face-hugging him or something? I feel like I saw that in the promo images. That said, it should be worth noting this Doctor Doom head is a legit Doctor Doom head, obviously, but it has the more classic-looking faceplate, whereas the other Doctor Doom head that used the same hood sculpt was more modern. I do kind of prefer that one, but you can't beat the classics, man. Said, let me put Norman's helmet back on, because it should be worth noting that the legs here and the shoulder pads are, I think, new as well. The lower legs, the lower arms might be from Extremis, but I think the upper legs and the shoulders and the helmet actually are brand new, because the helmet on Extremis doesn't have this little widow's peak there. And it should also be worth noting that Taskmaster's accoutrements like the belt, the gun holster, and the strap around his leg are also newly tooled for the Vulcan body that he utilizes. So hopefully I made myself look like less of a boob with this little added on clip at the end. Hopefully you stay tuned to the end to actually see it. You don't roast me in the comments too bad. I mean, come on, man. What do you expect from a visually impaired toy reviewer that gets stuff early, huh? That said, until next time, catch you guys later.